Hi there, I'm Stacy, the encaustic mixed media artist behind Studio Stacy. For those of you new around here, welcome. For returning viewers, welcome back. This week's video, I thought I would take you kind of behind the scenes and show you the beginning preliminary plans of how I'm planning my new series. So there's probably going to be some sketching and some painting and some behind the scenes kind of ideas and thought processes and where I keep track of all of that stuff. So yeah, come along and hope you guys enjoy. If you happen to miss the video where I talked about kind of the idea and concept behind this new series, I'll link it up here. I think maybe over here, maybe over here. Anyways, it'll be linked up there somewhere. But basically, this idea behind this new series is going to be a little bit more personal. I'm taking my own personal values and insights and things like that and placing them into this series, or putting them into this series. So I've thought a little bit more through this process, and each time I come up with kind of a different idea around this big overall concept, I am jotting them down and I'm sticking them into the computer, and the program you guys know I'm in love with is Trello. So I'm keeping everything in there so I don't have a bunch of sticky notes all over the place, to try to keep it nice and concise. And today what I'm trying to figure out is a couple different sizes. I'm really trying to narrow down my sizes of paintings that I'm going to be offering. And then try to keep that consistent throughout each series. And the main reason behind that is for the art shows. If I have, a bunch of different sizes and they're all over the board, it's really hard for me to remember the prices. It's hard for people to, have kind of concise paintings. Like if they want to pick out 4 of a painting and hang them together and the sizes are all over, it can be a little bit more difficult. So I'm trying to narrow down my sizes today. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking a look at my price sheet. My prices are based on sizes, and then along with quote unquote standard sizes in the industry. Trying to make sure I have a size in a smaller price point and a size all the way up to a larger price point, or a larger size and a smaller size, and then a few in between. So that is the idea. And then while I'm doing this, I'm listening to an audiobook to, again, help me drum up some ideas and things like that. Okay, so now that I have some of the logistics worked out, specifically I have the sizes that I want to use, I am going to take a look at my sketchbook paper that I already have ripped down. Now, I think, unfortunately, I jumped the gun a bit on this and it tore it down to the wrong ratio, or the wrong size ratio, if that makes sense. I want to try to keep it like, so if I'm using, just look at my notes here. Okay, so 12 by 16 is one of the sizes that I'm going to attempt to create in this series. And that's a 3:4 ratio. So I'm not going to be doing an entire 12 by 16 painting and putting it into the sketchbook. It probably wouldn't fit, for one thing, and I don't want to get quite that detailed, but I do want to work in the same ratio, if that makes sense to you guys. So I think I didn't accidentally, but I jumped the gun on tearing down this paper. And while it may seem like a waste, it's not. I actually tore the paper down not waste any of the papers, because the paper is a certain size, and so I just divided it up into pieces so there was no waste. Instead, what I'm going to do is probably tear some of these down a bit more to the right ratios, and then in the leftovers I'll use them as scrap to clean off brushes or things like that, so it won't be a complete waste of paper. So at any rate, that's what I'm going to do next. Losing light on the day, so this is going to cast some shadows, as you can see. Hello, camera. At any rate, I just thought I'd show you, I have 4 stacks of paper. So this will be good for my 24 by 36 size paintings. So eventually the ideas that come out of these, and probably even more sketches, will turn into maybe 3, maybe 2, maybe 4, who knows how many at this point in time, 24 by 36 inch paintings. This is going to be good for 12 by 16 size and 18 by 20. And then this stack here is going to be good for my 12 by 24 sizes. And then this stack here is going to be good for 10 by 10s and 24 by 24s. So just to kind of give you an idea of how it all starts. Good morning. It has been a couple days since I picked up the camera, and I am deep into the conceptual process of this next series, meaning I'm doing a lot of thinking, I'm doing a lot of jotting down notes, I'm kind of getting out into the environment that I want to paint in this next series. So it's a lot more conceptual than the past 2 series. And because I'm really in a conceptual phase, it's kind of hard to explain it. So I'm hoping I'm going to do this justice here. But the previous 2 series, the mini explorations, that one was really all about having fun, experimenting, and playing around with lots of different materials. So the only format to that was these little 4x4 mini mat board pieces. Not too much at stake, if you will, there. So with this one, I really want to work on boards, hardwood boards, cradle panels, and I want to go bigger. I'm going to do some small, but I also want to do bigger. So there's a little bit more at stake here. So I don't want to just jump right in and start experimenting. Then the latest collection was the Painting Through Your View, where I had my newsletter subscribers send in different photos. And because I had painted photos in the past, there really wasn't much to experiment around with, or I didn't have much to worry about there because I felt really confident. However, this series, it's a concept. So I have several different concepts that I'm going to be kind of toying around with, all revolving around one main topic. And because I'm not sure if I can completely paint all of these concepts and have it come across in the painting, that's why I'm going to be doing a lot more sketching on these papers that I tore down yesterday. So hopefully that, or not yesterday, however many days ago, at any rate, hopefully that explains that a little bit more, kind of my process and what I'm doing here. Because I really have no idea what I'm doing here. So now I want to sort through those pages back there that I tore down. They're the right sizes. But now I want to sort through them and figure out what backgrounds really need toned down a lot, because they're just scrap pieces of paper that I've put a bunch of paint down on, watercolor, India ink, who knows what else. And some of the backgrounds are really, really busy. So I'm going to sort through to figure out what ones I want to tone down and what ones I think I can probably just use as is. I'd show you the basic setup here. I've got several different sets of India ink out here, and then I've got some towels down here just to protect the work surface, and then the various different papers. Now some of these have absolutely nothing on them, and some of them, like these other ones, I think are way too busy. So I'm gonna try to add some ink to the ones that have absolutely nothing on them, and also add some ink to the other ones to tone them down a bit. So that is the plan, and yeah, let's see what happens. Oh, and I also have, I should say, some foam brushes, and I'm going to get a cup of water here. So there's the tools. I should say I decided to use India ink because I know that it works, one, with encaustic, and all of these have encaustic medium down, and two, it's fairly opaque and also still see-through. So that's the reason I decided to go with the India ink.
I thought I would also say I am using about 3 different colors of India ink on each piece of paper, and I'm just making sure that they're colors that won't make mud as I kind of smush them around together. And again, there's not really any set rhyme or reason for these colors. Just trying to create a background that I can work with going forward, and also experimenting with different background techniques to use in this series. I'm also using a paper towel to wipe off some of this ink so it doesn't get to be too opaque and you can't see anything underneath it showing through. So there you have it. Sit back and enjoy the video. The last thing I want to do today is put down some encaustic medium, some clear encaustic medium onto these India ink backgrounds to just really see all that India ink down in between a couple layers of the encaustic medium. So that's the final step for the day.
We woke up to a large amount of snow today, so I will show you a few clips from earlier in the day. But I wanted to pop on here real quick because I'm going to put down some watercolor onto some gesso pieces of paper. So what I figured I might do is I was going to try, obviously, the India ink that I've done, and then also watercolor backgrounds, and experiment around with both of those techniques to see which one I prefer for this series. So I'm going to put down some watercolor. I decided not to bore you completely with my droning on about gesso. If you've missed my blabbering about gesso, I'll put the link up here to the previous 2 videos where I did a whole huge gesso comparison. So yeah, I'll link that there. At any rate, I did decide though to write on the back of these papers what gesso is on what papers, just so I can keep track of it. And then I'm also going to be taping down these papers to my work surface, and I'm going to switch over to my glass top work surface to put the watercolor down so I can easily wipe it up. And I'm going to tape these down to try to keep them flat. So we'll see how that works.
Now I know I could have used some artist grade tape and taped down over these edges instead of rolling up blue painter's tape. However, I've already cut these pages down to the size and I didn't want to take away any of the border, which is also why you do a lot of sketches before you just jump into a painting. At any rate, I've decided to use some other media other than just watercolor like I initially thought I was going to use. I'm using Neocolor crayons, some hard pastels, of course the watercolor, and some Inktense sticks. So there you have it. Sit back and enjoy the painting.
believe this is where I'm going to leave you for this video, just so it doesn't get too long. I am wondering, are you enjoying these videos, like these kind of sneak peeks into the process? Would you rather see a complete painting from start to finish, or a complete sketch rather from start to finish? I'm not ready to do paintings yet. I always like to see the behind the scenes of how artists and creatives come up with their different projects and things before the actual project takes place. So I enjoy that, so I'm hoping that you guys are too. But let me know if this is, like, again, just too much information, if it's not exciting or enjoyable or any of that stuff. And also let me know if it is. I would really love to know. I hope you did enjoy coming along on this video. If you did, if you could give it video a thumbs up, that really does help me out and gets me in front of like-minded creatives and people like yourself. If you aren't subscribed and would consider doing so, I would also very much appreciate that. We will talk to you soon. Bye for now.